Well, welcome everyone once again to another fabulous episode of Ms. G's Ladies Lounge right here on a Monday, as they say, Monday. All right, so we know what we love to do on Mondays. We love to just have a good time, have a great chat, and just fellowship with each other and let each other know how wonderful we are. All right. So, listen, today I have a wonderful guest, and I'm so excited that she is here with me. It's not our first time here, but I'll tell you, she has so much growth since her last episode of being here with us, and we're overly excited to have her joining us. I think the last time she joined, we were not live video, but we were, I believe, on the phone. So now you get to see her live and in person. So listen, I have with me today Nicole Cole, an amazing young woman, entrepreneur, just doing her thing. And so today we're going to talk a little bit about just about health and wellness with Miss Nicole. And I want you to just sit back, relax. Remember to type your comments and share, like, tag, share, invite a friend, because this is going to be a conversation or a chat that is going to really enlighten each and every one of you. So make sure you tell someone that we are on the air and we are talking about some great information that they don't want to miss. And before we get started, we always love to say just a simple prayer. And so we thank God for this day. We thank you, God, for allowing us to have this moment. We thank you for life, health, and strength. And we thank you even for our guest on today. I pray that not only will she be blessed, but those that sit and listen and hear and receive what she has to say. And I pray this prayer in Jesus' name. Amen. All right, so I'm so excited once again. Nicole Cole. She is a family nurse practitioner. She is a native of Henrico, Virginia, who or FNP-C, I'm sorry, is a native of Henrico, Virginia, and she received her Bachelor of Science in Nursing from James Madison University, graduating with magna cum laude. She soon after she completed her master's in family nurse practitioner degree at Georgetown University. She is currently the founder and CEO of NC Consulting LLC, which focuses on developing future nurse practitioners through preceptorship and mentorship, and also consults with local businesses providing diabetes education and STI diagnosis and treatment, including PrEP and HIV Rapid Start. Nicole's mission in life is to simplify medicine so that each individual can feel like an expert in their health, so that partnership with their providers can be established. Nicole is in the process of starting her own private practice called Renewed Health LLC, which should be opening in 2023. Nicole has a passion for dancing and has been formally trained in ballet, jazz, and tap since the age of 5. She enjoys spending time in nature with her Yorkie Poo Ziggy, especially walking alongside any body of water. Nicole also loves to travel and experience the culinary traditions of different cultures while learning about the history of the region that she is in. Throughout the pandemic, Nicole has really understood the importance of holistic medicine, including mind, body, and soul, and plans to utilize this revelation in order to transform medicine into more prevention, especially in the underserved community. Listen, I don't know if that sounded fantastic to you, but to me, it is truly amazing. So today, I just invite you to help me welcome my guest on today, Miss Nicole Cole. Hey, Miss Nicole.
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. I'm so excited to have you here on the show with me on today. And I can't wait to get this chat going. So I'm not going to prolong it. I'm just going to just start out by just saying, just give us a moment of, we heard some of the things that you love to do, but just what drives you to want to do the things that you are doing?
I think for me, the reason I became a nurse is because I saw the impact that nurses had on my grandmother. So my grandmother had pancreatic cancer, and it was something that was very hard for us as a family to digest. But to just see the nurses that came in and were just friends, it was much more than just, I am your nurse today. This is, I am your friend. Let me know what I can do to help. And that's just something I've just transferred over into my life. So whether it's, professionally, whether it's in my personal life, just wanting to be that person that can help people either get through, go through, and just transform themselves. So that is what I'm excited about.
Wow. And that's an awesome thing to hear. I just left the hospital today. I've been sitting with someone, and I'll tell you the honest truth. It was so enlightening to have the doctors that came in, the nurses that came in. They were all so pleasant. And that's sometimes not a thing.
Exactly.
It's just sometimes not a thing. And the person that I was sitting with, she just kept saying to them, I want you to just stay here with me, because they put her so at ease. She was so nervous. She was so upset about what was going on in her situation. And they just put her mind at ease, just with a little lighthearted laughter or a smile, or just taking the moment to listen and to assist her and answer her questions. And you don't get that. I'm a nurse myself, and I'll tell you, there have been those short days. There have been those days when you're like, look, lady, I ain't got time for all of this. You know, and you have to catch yourself.
Exactly.
And some of them, I mean, especially because I used to work night shifts, so it was even worse, especially
Right.
early in the morning when you're trying to finish your rounds and all of that.
Right.
Some of them they'll stop you like, hey, you know, I'm right here, and you have to catch yourself. And so I'm in my year 32 of nursing. And so,
Um,
yes,
you're not
ma'am.
even 32 years old. I don't believe it.
Yes.
Nope.
So it has taken me almost all 32 of my years to really get to the place where I not it didn't take me all 32, but close to it, where I really was able to master that moment with my patients a lot better. And so
Yeah.
now, even in the last, I would say, last 8 years, I've been trying to train and help nurses to understand that just, when you take, and I don't mean it take so long, but when you take that moment and you create another problem, it's going to take you longer to do what you could have done kindly the first time. I've learned that. So we were talking about what one of the things that you are, well, the overall for you is holistic medicine and
Mhm.
healthcare. So tell us exactly what that means.
So for me, I think that a lot of times when we think about medicine and healthcare, we think about medications. And
Mhm.
unfortunately, with how medicine has become, it's very in and out. Let me get you in, let's talk for like 2 seconds, let me give you a medication, and I'm sending you out. But for me, holistic is understanding every part of the person. And
Mhm.
so understanding their mindset, number one,
Mhm.
where number one is their reading level, but also where's their comprehension level. I've had plenty of times where I've gone to the doctor and someone sees I'm a nurse practitioner, so they automatically think that my
Mhm.
mind is
Right.
at that level. But when it's yourself, talk
Mhm.
to me like I'm in second grade.
Exactly.
I'm not processing. So being
Right.
able to see, okay, what is their mindset? What is their education level? What is their mindset about what they're going through? Because I had so many people that would come in and say, oh, well, it's just genetics, so I can't do anything about it.
Mhm.
And so I can talk until I'm blue in the face about what to do about it. But if that person has already made up in their mind that they have no control, it doesn't matter. And
Mhm.
so, maybe coming into that person in a totally different way, which to other people would not make any sense.
Right.
But we're looking at the long term game. And
Mhm.
so for me, holistic medicine means I'm here as your provider today, tomorrow, next year. I told my patients, you got to live to your 120. Okay. That is
Okay.
my only requirement.
Right.
So we
Right.
have to look at different things and look at life as a continuum where, okay, we're not going to be able to master everything today, but let's master this one thing. And then when you come back, we can master something else. Mind, body, soul. What are you eating? What are you taking in just stress wise, TV wise? People are saying to you wise, I had to have one of my patients block her sister. Um,
Mhm. Right.
because it just
Mhm.
wasn't a healthy relationship there. And so I
Absolutely.
can give you as many meds as I can, but if
Right.
we're not blocking the cause of it, unfortunately, then
Mhm.
what are we really doing? So taking the time to really understand the root cause of everything. Because I think that medicine can be so reactive instead of proactive. And so we give you medicine because your eye twitches, and when the eye twitches and your leg starts to hurt, so I give you another medicine for there.
Right.
So really looking at the entire person is what I'm looking at with holistic medicine.
And that's important. My church recently did a health talk, and I had the opportunity to, give people some pointers on how to even go to a doctor's visit. And one of the things I started out with was first make sure you find the right doctor,
Mm,
because every
yeah,
doctor is not for everybody, and so
exactly.
you have to see who is going to help meet your needs. And that takes sometimes shopping around a little bit, researching, getting some reviews, and talking to people, getting some suggestions from friends that may know something about you. And
Exactly.
one of the things that I told them was, look for somebody who is not just going to look at, like you said, the problem that you came in for right now, but what is my overall situation? So is this problem related to my past, my future, my present? What is this problem related to something that happened, or something else that another doctor is looking at? Or even if I go to a specialist, when I come back to my doctor, I want my doctor to know what the specialist did and what they said, so that they're not trying to overtreat me or vice versa. you know. So
Exactly.
that's one of the things that I love to tell people. And so I love the holistic medicine, and I love the idea of, really um, working on the whole being. That is so wonderful. So we, as at we ourselves, we most people don't really want to have to go to the doctor. There are a few that love going to the doctor because they don't have nothing better to do all day, believe me. So how can we build up ourselves to try to have healthy lives before sicknesses occur?
Yeah, I definitely think that number one, it goes back to what we're taking in. I don't think we realize how important the food that we eat really just changes the dynamic. So I had a patient that came in that was like, well, my great grandmother, she used to eat pork all the time and it didn't bother her. And I was like, I don't really think it's necessarily the pork. I think it's how we're getting it. Great
Okay.
great grandmother went in the backyard
Right.
and
Right.
had her pig back there and
Right.
thought it was
Right.
herself. And so we really have to be very careful about what we're taking in. And so slowing down to speed up was what I'll always tell people, having the fresh fruit, having the fresh vegetables. Unfortunately, in the United States, we have a lot of processed foods.
Mhm.
We get everything on the fly. We can go all into food deserts and things like that. Access to things that will help us to be healthy,
Mhm.
um, and then exercise.
Mhm.
Exercise is something that's so important. And I think a lot of times people think it has to be going to the gym. No, an
Mhm.
exercise can be you going for a walk in your neighborhood.
Mhm.
I love to dance, obviously. So Zumba, that is my thing.
Yeah.
I love
Okay.
Zumba. I
Really?
just started kickboxing.
Whoa.
I like what it does for me. I don't like
Right.
the workout.
Right.
And
Yeah.
they keep telling me to do burpees, and my body wants to say no.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
getting down to those basics, and then a big thing now is stress. Especially with the pandemic, I have seen so many people dealing with depression and anxiety. And I don't know if it's these people were already dealing with it, but now there's been so much more isolation.
It
And
is.
so if we don't deal with those things, the food that we intake, the exercise that we're supposed to have, and then also the mental health,
Mental.
then that is going to lead to us going to doctors a lot more. And then also using your doctor as just a preventative. I tell people all the time, you don't have to come to me because you're sick. We can
Right.
come do a nice physical and catch
Absolutely.
things early.
Yeah.
Because that early detection is awesome by the time that I see a lot of patients because something has been bothering them for a year, 2 years, 3 years. And if they would have came to me on like week two, it would have been something that was much more manageable with less meds and less tests. And so I
Mhm.
always tell my patients, come to me early before there is a problem or right when the problem starts so that hopefully we can put a cap on it and it doesn't have to be this long drawn out thing where now we're having to do all these tests and now you're getting diagnoses that you don't want. And I
Right.
tell people just because someone doesn't tell you doesn't mean it's not there. So
Exactly.
that early prevention is so important. So important.
Yeah, I mean, what we do. I'm back in the physician's office, which I love, but what we do now is, it's a standard, and it's a standard protocol that the first thing you do is if they have not had a diagnosis of depression, you ask them two questions. If they answer any one of them, yes, it's going to open up a list of more questions.
Exactly.
But it's necessary. And I'll tell you, I have to always keep my box of tissues nearby because when you ask people sometimes one question, it just
Mhm.
really opens up their heart for more. And they're
Exactly.
able to release what they didn't know sometimes that they even had. And so
Exactly.
we're not trying to make everybody depressed, but we're trying to bring awareness to what their real situation is because, as you said, mental is a part of the holistic medicine. And sometimes, I'm sure you're going to tell us this along the way, and you might have said it, but sometimes mental is the cause for the physical stress
Oh,
and physical
definitely.
pain. Yeah.
Definitely. And people don't realize that. I have people come to me all the time with
Mhm.
stomach problems or headaches, diarrhea, and they want this gamut of tests. And I'll do a couple, but then
Right.
I'm like, okay. Let's make sure that it's not something that's going on that's a mental thing. And because your body is going to try to tell you one way or
Right.
another. So I have anxiety. I have anxiety really bad. I actually had to get on Lexapro. I'm not ashamed to tell people.
Right, right.
But my body had adapted, and so I also have irritable bowel syndrome, and it's
Mhm.
linked to my anxiety. So when I'm stressed, my stomach starts to hurt.
Right.
I'm just like, wait a minute, I don't like
Yeah,
this.
yeah, yeah.
But when you don't deal with it, your body is going to bring it out somehow.
Mhm.
And so I wasn't dealing with it. I was like, oh, I got so much going on. I'll worry about it later. Till my body was like, okay, you're not gonna
Right.
listen. No problem. I'm gonna make you go to the doctor and get
I
this
know
straight.
that's right.
So our body is so amazing, but a lot of times we don't listen to it, or we think of so many alternate stories. Oh, it's just because I haven't eaten today, or oh, it's
Mm,
just because of this. And it's like, no, it's because your body is literally asking for help and we keep ignoring it. So mental health is something that we don't talk about, especially in our community.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Especially. And so, being able, I love, like you were saying, when you ask those questions, it opens up a door. And some people are like, well, I didn't even know what depression was. I had a
Right.
lady say that. She was like, oh, well, yeah, I'm experiencing all of that. That's depression. She thought depression was only when someone was suicidal. And
Right.
so explaining that there is a different severities. You have mild depression, you have moderate, you have severe. And so just being able to give that education, and
Mhm.
also so that people can share with other people. So
Absolutely. Wow. So you're such an amazing um, young lady, but you're such an amazing provider.
oh, thank
So
you.
a- now, as a nurse, you say nurse, and we know that you are a nurse, but when you become a nurse practitioner, you're in a whole new ball game. So
Yes.
we say provider. So as a provider, and as a young nurse practitioner, because when did you start? How old were you when you became a nurse practitioner?
25.
25. Amazing. So you have been really pouring into others as well, and that's your goal to really pour into others. What do you think makes a good candidate for someone to be a nurse practitioner? Because I know I have a lot of nurse friends out there, and some may be considering what they can do next. And
Yeah.
some people are afraid because they don't want to have that responsibility of being a provider, but then some are like really trying to figure out where to go. Should I be a PA? Should I be an NP? Should I be a doctor? What should I do?
Right.
So tell me what your thoughts are on that for our audience out there.
Yeah. So for me, someone that is a good provider is someone, number one, who's going to listen.
Mhm.
And you can be the smartest person in the world, but if you do not listen to your patient, don't
Right.
go in the profession. I know I am not the smartest provider out here. There are plenty of things that I don't know, but one thing I definitely pride myself on is listening to my patient. And so I think that a lot of times we go in with a set of objectives, and
Mhm.
sometimes those objectives don't match what the patient's objectives are. And sometimes our objective is going to mean a little bit more because it's a life or death thing. So if I'm thinking of something that can kill you tomorrow and you're thinking of something that's kill you in 30
Right.
years, Nicole's probably going to win. um, but
Mhm.
I also have to meet you where you are, where let's say my objective today was to, I'm so
That's okay.
sorry.
This is what
Someone's at my
happens.
door. Hold on one
This
second.
is what happens. So Nicole is coming right back, and I hope that you are enjoying. This is we are taping this live. However, there may be some questions, and if you have questions, put your questions in the chat, and we'll be sure to get back to you with some responses. Okay, so you can go ahead.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
So, maybe my objective at the time is that I want to get the patient's blood pressure down. But their objective is, Nicole, I need to figure out how I'm going to eat for the next couple of days. Nicole's objective doesn't matter.
Right.
And so you really have to be someone who is willing to listen to your patient.
Mhm.
And then also you have to be someone who's going to be a leader. So you are leading that case for that patient. And 9 times out of 10, they're looking to you as being the expert, even if
Mhm.
you don't feel like the expert.
Right,
So a
right,
lot of times they're like, well, Cole, what do you think? And I'm like, well, it doesn't matter what Nicole thinks. It matters what you think. But a lot of people are taught, do not argue with your provider, do not disagree with your provider. And so you have to be able to let them know, like, no, you don't have to agree with me. That's
right.
completely fine. We're partners in this. And I
That,
always want to be their partner. I never wanted to seem that I'm in a hierarchy role telling them what to do. I want to always partner. And then I guess the last thing is just understanding why you're doing it. And that's with anything. If you're just doing it to be for the money,
mhm.
which the money is nice, but you're not going to stay.
I'm sure.
Because it's other things that come with it, but really, find within yourself why you're doing this. Are you doing this to really help the patient? For me, transitioning from being a nurse to a provider, I really wanted to focus on that preventative aspect. I worked at St. Mary's in med surg oncology, so
Mm,
by the time I saw the patient, they already had cancer.
right.
They were already on this battle. And yes, I could be
Mhm.
there and I can comfort and I can, provide their meds, but it was a terminal illness. So I knew that unfortunately in the end, not that we lost,
Mhm.
but I wanted to get to them before they got to that. And
Wow.
so being a provider was the only way that I saw that I could provide that prevention aspect, provide the education to be like, okay, yes, grandmother did have diabetes, uncle did have hypertension. Yes, so and so had a stroke, but all these things are preventable. What can we do now so that we don't have to repeat this story for generations to generations?
Mhm.
And because it's very easy to lose sight of that, like we were saying, things are so fast paced in medicine that if you
Absolutely.
don't take a stand for your patient, it'll be just like an assembly line. And it's very easy to get into that mindset where you're not worried about your patient, you're worried about a number. And I said,
Right.
if I ever got to that, it would be time for me to leave medicine. That's why the holistic medicine is so important to me because I want to know you, I want to know your family, I want to know your kids. Because when I know all those things, it's so much easier for me to be able to treat them. Because a lot of times in family medicine, I see everyone. I see grandma, I see daughter, I see great granddaughter. And so
Mhm.
it's so interesting how you see these trends. And
Right.
I'm like, well, everyone has high blood pressure because we all eating the same.
Right.
So let's start at the top and then let's let
Right.
that go down.
Right.
But I think anyone can do it. When I decided to become a nurse practitioner, people told me I was too young. People
Mhm.
told me that I needed to get more experience as a nurse. And so I actually waited a year because I was like, oh, well, if that's what they feel, that's what I'm going to do. And then I was like, no, this is what I want to do. So this is what I'm going to do.
Absolutely.
And, along the way, you had your naysayers. I had a provider told me that I was going to be a horrible provider. I
Mm.
cried so bad. I was like, I just want to be a
Oh.
good provider.
Oh,
Um, but you
wow.
have to make up in your mind that if this is what you really want to do, this is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to be really good
Absolutely.
at it. And so I think any nurse can definitely, whether you choose the NP route like I did, whether you choose the PA route, whether you choose the MD route. My biggest thing is look behind the decision. Why are we doing this? If it's just for money, I
Right.
wouldn't do it. But if
Right.
it's for impact, then
Yeah.
if the answer is yes, then I would say go ahead and do
Wow. That is
it.
awesome. And you started, you said as a nurse, but you saw
Mhm.
nursing because your mom saw a nurse, right?
My mom's a nurse. Yes.
Yeah. So it wasn't foreign to you. It was
Mm-mm.
sort of in your blood.
Exactly.
So now you are getting ready for this where you're going to be really doing these what's the word I'm looking for? Uh, oh, the trainings and all that, to help others to move
Yes,
up
like the
into,
preceptorships.
yes. And what is the name
Mhm.
of the company that you
So NC Consultant. So
mhm.
Nicole Cole, so NC Consulting LLC.
Okay. And you said you were starting a new company in, or a new renewed health LLC, a new practice.
Yes, something that I have been trying to not do for a long time. You know how you know your calling is something and you're like, no, that's where I am. This is comfortable. I like this. Um, yeah, I've been fighting it for a long time, but things line up like they're supposed to, and I'm
Oh,
like,
that's
okay,
awesome.
nervous as I don't know what,
That is
but
so
definitely,
awesome.
yeah. I mean, I'm definitely excited. And seeing consulting, that's easy for me because I can go in and go out. Do my
Right.
diabetes thing, come out. Do my STD, come out.
So let's
But
talk about that real quick.
yes,
So what you're doing with the NC Consulting is you are you have contracts and consulting on various things, which is the
yes.
diabetes education, the STI, which is what? Tell us what that
Um,
is.
So I work with two companies with my consulting agency right now. So I am the diabetes educator at Capital Area Health Network. With that, we have two different programs. We have group classes that we do that are completely free. There, I love the classes so much. It's my heart. Teaching is like I
Yes.
realized, like God, that's the gift God gave me. I need to stop fighting
Okay.
it. But we have group classes for people who are diabetics because so many times people go to the doctor, they get a diagnosis, and you're like, I have what?
What
Diabetes.
to do now? Yeah.
Okay. And
Right.
then we throw all these meds at you, and you're dealing with
Mhm.
all these side effects. So just slow everything down. Whether someone's been a diabetic for 2 minutes, 20 years, they're pre diabetic. We have some people in the class who, like, husbands may be diabetic. And so
Mhm.
we allow them to be able to have 8 weeks of a curriculum. So I teach the clinical aspects. We talk about what is diabetes, how does it affect the body. We spend about 2 to 3 weeks going through medications. Lord have
Mhm.
mercy. We have like a pharmacology class, but make
Right.
it, as fun as possible because so many times people take medications and they have no idea what they do to their
What
body
it's doing. Yeah.
at all. And then they start having these side effects and it just
Mhm.
kind of compounds. So we go over their meds. Then we also talk about, kind of like we were saying before, when you go to your doctor, what do you ask? What do you do? What does an A1C mean? What does
Right.
your cholesterol mean? And then just be able to provide that safe space where they can ask questions with no judgment. Because I
Mhm.
think sometimes think, well, this is a dumb question. I don't want to ask that. I know I probably shouldn't be eating Apple Jacks, but I like Apple Jacks. And
With
so we
all the
provide
sugar on
that
it.
space. I love Apple Jacks. So we provide that space. But then we have a nutritionist that is in there as well. Dr. Alice Freeman, who's absolutely
Oh
amazing.
yeah, I know her name.
Yeah, she's partnered with us. And then
Yes.
we have the exercise component where we actually have also added to that this mindfulness component, especially as we were saying, dealing with so much mental health. And so Renata teaches that. So we all three teach every single week. And it's just so impactful to see the changes that they make from the beginning to the end. So it's an 8-week class, completely free. We're utilizing Zoom just because of COVID. We want to keep everybody safe.
Oh, okay.
We
That's
have
good.
that component, so that's amazing.
Yeah.
Um, yes, I love it. I still love it. But we also have one-on-one. So for people who want a little more one-on-one attention, where I actually manage their meds, I actually manage their referrals, manage their labs. So I am literally covering all of their diabetes. And so that one isn't free, it goes through insurance. But it's amazing to see the transformation where, you go to a doctor and you don't know what to ask, or once again you still feel like you are being rushed. My appointments
Right.
are 30 minutes. They're
Mhm.
on it's not through Zoom, but it's through the computer system we
The
have,
portal.
ECW.
Uh-huh.
And so they're in their homes. So I'm like, go ahead, go to that refrigerator, girl. Let me see what's in there.
Oh
Let's read
no.
this label.
I can't let you in my
Like,
house. No, I'm only
oh
kidding.
no, she's here.
Yes.
Do it in a way where, it's no judgment because a lot of times things are passed down. I buy this
Mhm.
milk because my mom bought this milk. This is what we did. And so we really break it down where, I may have a patient come in and ask what they eat and they can't remember. But if you at home you can show me what you're eating. And
Right.
so it just provides that place where we can really just go through your meds. And, I make it very individualized to the patient. Some people I see once a week, some people I see once a month, but it's absolutely amazing. So diabetes is definitely my heart. It was something interesting enough when I was in school. I hated diabetes because it was so hard. I was just like, I don't understand this.
Right.
But when I started working at Con, the role was for a diabetes educator, and I was like, well, I guess I got to conquer this fear, and it has become such a
Wow.
love.
Oh,
So that is what I do with Con, and then I also contract with this amazing company called Nations Foundation. And so they actually have been created to bring awareness about sexually transmitted infections, provide free testing, but also to provide, let's say someone is positive for HIV, we do rapid start. And so, of course, being diagnosed with anything is troubling, but to find out that you have HIV, it's a whole nother level.
right.
Even though
Right.
there's so many great medications out there
Right.
where people are able to live with this disease so much longer, but then they also connect you with care. So not only are we talking to you about the HIV, not only are we getting you quickly on treatment, but now we're going to make sure you're getting connected with the necessary resources so they're not as barriers. And so I once again, another one of my hearts. But it's just nice to be able to talk to people because it's something you don't talk about. You're
Absolutely.
doing your thing and things
Yeah.
happen
Right.
and you don't
Right.
know where to go. And so they are absolutely amazing about identifying different resources for people to go to be able to talk about their sexual health, and then also in a non-judgmental way find them a way to get things treated if they need to be treated. So
That is so. You are really, as I said earlier, you are just doing such
yeah.
amazing things, and it's so great for our communities. They really need what you have, and I think a lot of people are not aware of all that's
Right.
available to them, and that's the big thing, getting that awareness. So,
Exactly.
do you all how can someone actually get in touch with you all to find out about these programs, or
Yeah.
how can they get in touch with these programs?
Yeah. So with the diabetes
I'm
program
going to
at
try to
Cap
type it on while you say it. Go
yeah,
ahead.
no problem. With the diabetes program at Capital Area Health Network, they can just call the main number. So that number is 804-780-0840. And you can just let them know that you are interested in taking a class, and then they will send the information over to me.
Okay.
For Nations
Hold on.
Foundation,
Hold on. You're going
they
too fast.
oh, I'm sorry.
I got to get this one on the screen first.
No problem.
Slow. Okay.
It's okay.
Did I put it up there? Okay. Is that
Yes, you
correct? All
did.
right. And the other one is called Nations what?
Nations Foundation. Nations is Nationz.
Okay. Okay.
And
And
they
the
are located off of Finley Street.
mhm.
And their phone number, let me pull that one up, is 804-716-7597.
Okay. And y'all don't judge me, but I didn't really I didn't really think about all of this part because we were
No,
talking
it
about.
looks great.
Yes. So the Main Street, it's not my street, but it's close. They have an A and I have an E. So
I love it.
that. So yeah, that's wonderful. And I'll pop that back on there before we get off the actual call with the actual show, which we're wrapping up real soon. But let me ask you just a few more questions. So tell us what your what was I going to say here? What your outlook is for you, Nicole. I know that you're a family nurse practitioner, and we talked about the different credentialing that could
Mhm.
go from there. Have you decided to just stay there, or are you working your way up to those MDs and
I
stuff?
It's such a back and forth. I don't know. It depends on the day of the week. So I've thought about possibly getting my MD. I'm actually leaning more to PhD though.
PhD.
So I said if I do go back, I would probably want to do PhD. I have a really big interest in maternal health. So I'm not sure if everyone knows, but there is a huge disparity in Black women giving
Mm.
birth and passing away. And I don't like that.
Right.
So wanting to do that research to figure out what's going on, what is
Right.
the disparity where, we're dying, and it's not just, people who don't have money. It is everybody.
Really?
Um, so you're seeing it a lot more. So I'm interested in PhD number one because someone else will pay for it. I'm not student loans,
Right.
but also because it's something of interest. And so before I do anything, I'd say, okay, well, what is this going to do for me?
Mhm.
With being an MD, I get people to call me by my name anyway, so I don't want people to call me doctor. And it really doesn't change what I do. With
Right.
more than PhD, I could see that being a change. And so that's
Mhm.
why I'm leaning more to PhD. Not right now though, but in the future, I could definitely see that. But definitely seeing this renewed health, that, like I said, the thing that I have been fighting to do, because I definitely have a vision of being able to create a center where not only we're doing primary care, but we're also doing physical therapy. We're also doing meditation. We're also doing mental health. And so I have a huge vision for that. Right now, I'm focused on a small vision, but I know that it's
Doing it
definitely going to
big.
be definitely going to be so much bigger. Because one thing that I get all the time is, okay, well, Nicole, you're referring me somewhere. Can I see someone who looks like me?
Mhm.
And it's hard for me because I can look up a picture and
Right.
see if someone
Right.
has the same skin color. But when I feel like when someone's asking me who looks like me, it's deeper than that.
Right.
Someone
Right.
who's going to look at me
And
holistically like
identify.
you do.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And not to say there's not people out there, because I'm definitely not
Mhm.
saying that, but I just I feel like I don't have a good grasp on that because a lot of the, I don't want to say the missions, but kind of how healthcare has changed. It's really
Mhm.
hard for people to do that because you got to make a profit. You have to stay open.
Mhm.
And so
Mhm.
these are things we have to do. And so by being able to find something where I'm not going to accept any government assistance because I want to do things I want to do, how I want to do it.
All
And
right.
so yes, just being able to change the way we do medicine. So
Uh,
focusing a lot on that prevention, but also, hey, I want you to go be able to talk to the nutritionist, and she's down the hall. I want you to go ahead and talk to the counselor. She's down the hall. I want you to go see that dentist. He's down the hall. And to be able to figure out a way, because insurance is such an issue, what can
absolutely.
we do to get around this? Because
Absolutely.
everyone's in need of a counselor. Everyone's in need of a dentist. Everyone's in need of a physical therapist. These are not wants, these are needs. So trying to figure out a way to make things accessible so that by the time that people are able to get them, it's not so far gone that, well, I don't have a choice. Now what do I do? So that's my goal.
And it's absolutely possible. So I don't know if you know that I worked for a local company, um, and they pretty much had that available. It wasn't, but it was for seniors. So if you can make it accessible to people of all ages, or
Mhm.
that adult age, that would
Exactly.
be just really, because it was a good program where they did not
Mhm.
have to go running around, and they were able to get all the help they need. And if it was something that we did not have, we had the resources to refer them to someone who was working along with us, and we knew what their standards were and how to, interact with them and get the information we needed to be able to follow through with them. And so, I mean, from transportation to everything. So,
Yes.
yeah, I see your vision. I see your vision. And I know yours is much clearer than mine. So I'm looking forward to seeing more about it, and, even seeing how I can help with the vision. I would,
I love
I
it.
believe it's just going to be a great thing. And I sure love to even be there, as they say, as a fly on the wall and making sure that I can see how great things are going. So let me just
Yay.
ask you, how do you balance your work life and your leisure life? You just listening to all that it's just, whew, whew, she's doing so much. It is great stuff. It is great stuff. But how do you balance your work life and your leisure life? Or do you have
Yeah.
one?
So I used to be very bad at that. I will
Mm,
be very, very honest. So, like I told you before, anxiety. I have very bad anxiety because I'm definitely a perfectionist.
mm,
Now I have boundaries, and so from this time to this time, you have me. I'm going to give you my all, but not after that.
mhm.
And so I would turn my computer off. I will turn my phone off if some patients have my number, and I will not respond. And at first, it was just like, oh, well, what are they gonna do if they can't get in touch with me? Oh
Right.
my gosh! And then I realized, oh, everybody survived. They're
Yeah.
okay.
They're okay.
So, and this is something that I'm still working on. I'm definitely not going to say I mastered this, but saying, okay, this is my boundary, and I'm not going
Mhm.
beyond that because I have to protect my peace. Because what I
That's
realized is that I was trying to keep pouring from an empty cup, and I was giving everyone my last and giving myself nothing, and I wasn't effective. I wasn't effective at all. And so I was like, you know what? If I can at least put these boundaries, yes, you have me from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. But
mhm.
after that, I need you to respect that I do need time to refuel
Absolutely.
myself.
Yep.
So once a month, I do something that I want, and I don't care what it is. I don't care how much it is. I work really hard, so I'm gonna do it.
That's all.
I get massages every single month.
Oh,
Um, and I was like, this is not just a self care thing. This is not just a luxury. This is a need.
right.
And then I make sure that I walk outside. So I don't know what it is about me walking in nature. It helps me to clear my
Oh,
mind. So I make sure I do that at least once a week. So I could
that's
definitely improve on some things, but I had to learn the boundaries because you can't be everything to everybody.
you
And
just
I felt like I had to be because I felt like that was part of my purpose. If I could be everything to you, I felt purposeful and I
right.
felt
Right.
important. It's like, Nicole, you are purposeful and important with even without all those things. So let's
Absolutely.
put some boundaries
Absolutely.
in place.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
yeah, you realize the world still goes on. It's like, huh, that's amazing.
You didn't need me. What happened? And in the meantime, you got some rest and you rejuvenated, right? So they could
Yeah,
have you. Yes, it does.
exactly.
It does take a toll on you if you're not careful. So
Yeah.
listen, you've been so amazing, and I've enjoyed every moment of this. And I know we could just go on and on and on. And I love you. I love you, love you, love you.
I love you
I think the
too.
last, I think the last experience we had together was you came. You're so into empowering, and you came to our girls empowerment.
I
And listen,
did.
we're getting ready for another one. We're getting ready for another. I know you're a busy lady, but I need you to get yourself
Yes,
together
let
and
me
say, I got
know.
10 minutes at least for the girls.
Of course. Of
Yes,
course.
yes,
Please
yes.
let me know when
Um,
it is. I'll definitely be there.
we had such an amazing time. Let me see. You spoke on, was it the business? Um,
Hmm. I
yeah,
did.
yeah, and they were young girls too.
They
But they were ready. They were ready.
yes.
They were. I mean, and some of them have really grown up and is doing some great things, and others are, coming up. They're probably in their areas of graduating from high school, and also,
What?
um, yeah.
Crazy.
So it's been a while. Like I thought, I looked at the flyer and I was like, "Oh, this has been a couple of years, so we need to do this again." I
Yes,
still have my
you
card back
do.
over there somewhere that you gave me my pink piggy bank. I don't know that there's any money in there, but I still have it.
I
um,
love it.
but yeah, so how can you encourage someone today who feels like it might be too late for them, to pursue one of these roles, or like we talked earlier, like they're not qualified, they're not smart enough. Just take a moment as we close out and just just encourage them if you don't mind, and let them know what's on your heart for them.
Yeah. So I don't even know if you know this, Gwen, but when I was taking my RN boards, I failed 3 times. Yeah, it was rough to the point where I was like, I'm not meant to be a nurse. And
Wow.
it really did a lot to my self-esteem.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing I can tell people is that someone out here needs you. You know, if I would have quit right then and there, the impact that I've had on my patients' family, it would not have been felt, or at least in this way. And so it's never too late, but it's also never too early. You know, people told me, oh, you're too young. People aren't going to listen to you. You're
Mm-hmm.
25 years old. And if I would have allowed them to let me think that, I wouldn't be where I am today. And so if it is your dream and you want to do it, don't let anyone stand in the way of that. And you can conquer anything that you put your mind to, because guess what? You are going to just be a testimony that someone else is going to be able to look at to say, oh, I can do that. I can do that very well. And just prove everyone who said that you can't, prove them wrong. Because I think about that one preceptor that told me I wasn't going to be good, and I'm like, look at me
That's,
now.
that's right.
Yes, it's really good. But you are meant to impact somebody. People are looking, and people want what you have, and you are the only person that can give them that. I've tried to be so many other people for a long time that I was like, well, who's going to be me? Who's going to be Nicole? Who's going to be able to bless people with what I can bless them with? And so, if you want to be a nurse practitioner, guess what? You're going to have a perfect niche that only you can do. So, we need you to go for it, because we need so many more nurse
Right.
practitioners.
Yeah, we
We
do.
need
We really
them.
do. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
And
yeah.
like you said, especially some that look like us. Yes.
Definitely. Definitely.
Yeah, that is such an awesome encouragement. And once again, I do appreciate you for coming in. I applaud you for everything that you're doing.
Thank
I'm looking
you.
so forward to everything that you are going to do. And I just believe that the doors that God is going to open for you, as one preacher says often, it's going to be a sweatless victory. I just
Oh,
believe.
I like
I
that.
believe it. Mhm. And people are going to be saying, wow, I didn't know she could, I didn't know she could. I didn't know, and they're going to be just looking and watching and just talking about you all over the place. And so I'm truly believing that, and I'm looking forward to it. And I'm going to be one of the ones talking about you in a good way. I will never stop speaking about you. You've been an amazing person ever since I've known you, and that was even before. I think before you graduated from high school, maybe, or right
Yes.
around there. So
I think
you
you've known me since middle school, Gwen.
right. You've been amazing ever since I've known you, and so I don't doubt anything that you say you're going to do. I don't doubt it. I just believe that
Thank you.
once you put your mind to it, it will come to pass. And
Thank you
so I
so
pray
much.
that it will be abundantly blessed. Thank you again. And
Of
I look
course.
forward to speaking with you real, real soon. Thank you so much for blessing us today.
Thank
All right.
you.
All right. Bye bye. All right, so there, ladies and gentlemen, you have heard from Nicole Cole, family nurse practitioner. She is amazing. So make sure that you share this video. I believe that so many of our young entrepreneurs, young women, even young men, really need to hear from one of our professionals who is out here doing her thing and ready to do more. And so make sure that you share this. There was some great information shared, people that you know that is struggling with their own health issues, mental issues, whatever it is, and just share with them and let them know. Listen, I thank you again for joining me, and I pray that you will come back again and join us on next week. Have an amazingly wonderful week.